I've grown up on Hingston my whole life. That's been sort of the place that we would go, when you weren't having to work. We'd be down on the creek either hunting squirrels or playing in the water. A farmer has to have a problem before he's looking for some kind of solution. If we hadn't had that harsh drought in '97, I don't know if we'd have ever thought about trying to put in the systems that were available. But then now that we've got the water scattered around, it's like, it's a breeze. It's a great thing that happened. There's a big 3-foot pipe that goes out into the creek. It's cleaner than a lot of ponds. That's a good thing about having these riparians. You can rotate your pastures now. You couldn't rotate them back then. You had one pond on the farm and the cattle grazed the whole farm. Well, what originally motivated us was we had the drought of '97. We had that real hard flash flood in the spring of '97, and then it never rained again. We were hauling several thousand gallons every day. All our ponds were dried up, and this program became available, and we jumped on it. We put in water systems, and with the water systems, we were required to put in the riparian system. Well, that's been the greatest benefit we had too, because with the riparians, we are getting trees to grow in areas that we couldn't get trees to grow because you've got to fence them off. We had problems when we'd have a flash flood. If we were calving baby calves around those areas, we'd lose calves to them. Now we've got those fenced off. We don't have that problem. I just think it's a win-win for all of us. We thought at first it was going to be really devastating to lose this amount of ground, but when you think about it, we were only giving up maybe 10 or 12 acres out of a 100-acre field. And that sounds like a lot of ground, but when you gain the water and the rotation, well, we increased our cattle grazing potential, probably doubled it. I tell you what I've enjoyed more than anything is being able to walk through these wooded areas. I've enjoyed every bit of it. We have about 185 acres here, and it's split by the road, and we have a large portion of it's taken up by Hingston Creek. So I'd say probably we've got operable amount of acres, maybe 160 at the most. I think we spent 1 month on this one pad up here, and it was great to have it there because we could feed on it without having to get out in the mud. The feeding pads I'm just crazy about because you can come in and you can walk out there and your cattle are right there beside you, It really makes a difference. These changes have led to a better operating farm because prior to that, 30 cows and maybe 15 heifers keeping over was about all I could do. There just wasn't enough ground, wasn't enough fencing. With this change in fencing and water availability, we're running more head. We're much more relaxed. We're not having to haul silage every day. I think it's been a great asset. When you overgraze pasture, it's washing off. When you're able to rotate and you can keep a good growth of grass on that pasture, you don't have near the runoff. We had to have so many acres of riparian. And that was a difficult thing. Nobody wanted to fence off that much ground. And it seemed like such a waste. But in the long run, it's been such a blessing. This rotation is the best way to go to improve your pastures, improve your number of head of livestock, improve your water quality. It's a win-win every way you look at it.